Yeah. Welcome to my channel. Adeshola Onide is my name. In this channel, what I do is to give you learning tips. And sometimes I pick topics in biology and medicine and discuss them in a very simplified manner to aid your study. Always ensure you visit this site regularly. Hey guys, if you are new in my channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button to encourage me. Thank you. In this new video, I'll be discussing the gastrointestinal system or the digestive system. Now, the video will be in part 1 and part 2. The part 1 will discuss the introduction. In the part 2, we'll look at the digestion of various substances. All right. In this particular edition, we'll look at the primary functions of the GIT, the secondary functions of the GIT, and the cells of the GIT. All right, let's get started. The primary function of GIT is actually to move nutrients from external environment into the body. Which nutrient are we talking about? We're talking about the nutrient from the food that we consume. When we consume food, the food is digested, then absorbed. The absorbed food into the blood will be carried by the blood to various parts of the body where it will be used. That's actually the primary function of GIT. Although the GIT has a secondary function. Then what are the secondary functions of GIT? We have what is called the mass balance. What do you mean by mass balance? We are saying gastrointestinal system contributes to daily maintenance of fluid input and output. That's one secondary function. Another secondary function is protection. We consume most food that we actually consume, they are not as hygienic as we think. The reason why we are not getting sick is because the acid and some other enzymes are also involved in the defense of the body. That is why we are actually not getting sick. Now, note, for the maintenance of fluid balance, there's something you must understand, that the input of fluid into the digestive system is actually about 9 liters every day, and the output is also about 9 liters every day. So what contributes to the input? The water the water and the food consumed will account for about 2 liters. Then the secretions will account for about the remaining 7 liters. Secretions, by secretion, we're talking about the salivary gland, the pancreatic secretions, the intestinal juice. These three, 1.5 each, that will form 4.5. Then we have the gastric juice, which is having the maximum volume. Then we have the liver. So all this will form the input 9 liters. Then the output 7.5 will be absorbed by this small intestine to the blood. Then we have another 1.4 that will be absorbed by the large intestine in the blood. Then the remaining 0.1 will be lost in feces. Note that when the amount to be lost in feces is more than 0.1, it will result in diarrhea. Diarrhea is increase in frequency and fluidity of stool. Diarrhea is increased fluidity and frequency of stool, and this will be due to either less absorption or more secretion. Either of these will actually result in diarrhea, and diarrhea is one of the commonest symptoms of a gastrointestinal disorder. Commonest symptoms, commonest sign of gastrointestinal disorder. 3 important things that you should also take note is what is called dysphagia. What is dysphagia? Dysphagia simply means difficulty in swallowing. It is different from odynophagia. Odynophagia simply means pain while swallowing. Odynophagia, pain while swallowing. Now, there's a condition that is very common that you should also know. Not very common though. That is known as achalasia. In this condition, the ring that form the lower esophageal finger usually find it difficult to relax completely, thereby making food to accumulate. Then note that you can classify causes of diarrhea. This increased fluidity and frequency. You can classify the cause of diarrhea actually into 3 important parts, into 4 important causes rather. The infection, drugs, and allergy. Now, when we say the digestive system, what is actually the limit? Digestive system actually starts from the mouth and end in the anus. However, there are key organs of digestion, 3 of them: the stomach, the small and the large intestines, which we call together as intestine, and the pancreas. Now, what is the stomach? Stomach is like the store for the food that is coming from the mouth that pass through the esophagus. Stomach is just like a sack that initially store food for a period of time. Then food in the stomach move into the intestine, then from the intestine to the pancreas. Now, if you won't remember anything about the stomach, note that the stomach is having three main parts. We have the cardiac zone, we have the body, then we have the cardiac zone, we have the body, then we have the pyloric zone. So if you are not going to remember anything, you must remember that. Then if you are not going to remember anything about pancreas, know that pancreas is just like a bag of enzymes. A lot of enzymes that are involved in digestion are produced by the pancreas. And intestine is the site for the digestion and the absorption of the food. Just like the same we have talked about the key structure, we should also talk about the key cells of the gastrointestinal system. What are those key cells? The number one, two of them actually, the endocrine cells that produce the hormones, which we call the GIT hormones. There are more than 200 GIT hormones actually. Then we have the one that is called the neuroendocrine cells. Neuroendocrine cells, they produce hormone also, but these hormones sometimes act as neurotransmitters. That's why we call them neuroendocrine structure, or neuroendocrine substance. They are hormones, but they can act as neurotransmitters sometimes. Now, these neuroendocrine cells are also called the APOD cells. APOD for amine, precursor, uptake, and decarboxylase cells. APOD, amine, precursor, uptake, and decarboxylase cells. Now, these cells, if they become problematic, maybe they get some yawa, this will result in what we call a carcinoid tumor. Now, all right, so with this foundation, we can now quickly go into the cells of the stomach. Now, the cells of the stomach, there are four of them. We have the epithelial cell, which produce mucus, or the mucus secreting cell. We have the parietal cells, which also called the oxyntic cells. We have the chief cells, which also called the zymogen cells of the peptic cells. Then we have the enterochromaffin cells. Note that all these three parts of the body produce the mucus. So the mucus producing cells are present in the cardiac of the stomach. They are present in the body of the stomach. They are also present in the pyloric region of the stomach. The parietal cells are the ones that produce hydrochloric acid. Parietal cells secrete hydrochloric acid. They also produce intrinsic factor. What is the function of intrinsic factor? Intrinsic factor is the one is very important in absorption of vitamin B12. So now, if intrinsic factor is not produced, the implication will be that vitamin B12 will not be absorbed. If vitamin B12 is not absorbed, then the vitamin B12 will not be available for production or the process that is known as erythropoiesis, which is the production of red blood cells, and that may result in a type of anemia in which the blood cells will be bigger. The red blood cells will be bigger than what is supposed to be, what we call megaloblastic anemia. Then the specific type of anemia due to this intrinsic factor deficiency is what we call pernicious anemia. All right, chief cells or zymogen cells, they are the ones that produce pepsinogen. What's the difference between pepsinogen and pepsin? Pepsinogen is the inactive form of the enzyme pepsin. Pepsinogen is the inactive form of the enzyme pepsin. Now, it is hydrochloric acid that is produced by the parietal cells that will activate this pepsinogen and make it active. Now, the next one we should talk about is the enterochromaffin cells. These enterochromaffin cells, they are also very important because they secrete serotonin. They also secrete histamine. This histamine is very important in manufacturing or in the production of hydrochloric acid. All right, so now the next thing we should talk about are the GIT hormones. GIT hormones can... Hey guys, if you are new in my channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button to encourage me. Thank you. Thank you for watching this amazing video. I am so honored.